Dealerships are desperate to dump these 12 Harley-Davidson models. Prices are slashed, gear is free, and inventory's piling up fast. These bikes aren't selling, so dealers are begging you to take them home. And number one, it's such a tough sell, they'll practically pay you to ride it out.
Number 12. Harley-Davidson Heritage Classic 114. Once praised for its blend of vintage styling and touring comfort, the Heritage Classic 114 has quietly become one of the most overlooked bikes in Harley-Davidson's current lineup. It is not because the bike is underpowered or unreliable. In fact, quite the opposite. This Softail cruiser is powered by the Milwaukee 8114V twin engine, which produces an impressive 94 horsepower, 1,174 cubic centimeters of displacement, and 119 pound-feet of torque. On paper, it is a solid package combining nostalgic chrome styling with serious highway power.
But the problem lies in the market shift. More and more riders are turning to fully tech-loaded models with high-end infotainment systems, digital rider aids, and lighter composite bodies. The Heritage Classic, despite its powerful engine, is still built in a traditional form, making it feel dated to younger or tech-oriented riders. The lack of modern connectivity, features like touchscreen navigation or advanced rider modes, puts it at a disadvantage against competing models in its price range. Speaking of price, this bike starts around $21,000 brand new, but dealerships across the country are now offering serious markdowns to move unsold inventory. Some are throwing in thousands of dollars in dealership credit, free accessories like windshields and luggage racks, and even extended warranties to close the sale. The reason? These bikes are sitting too long in showrooms and floor space needs to be cleared for newer models. While the Heritage Classic still delivers a timeless American cruising experience, buyers looking for more modern amenities are walking right past it. And for that reason, dealers are practically begging people to give this Softail legend a second look before it disappears for good.
And if you think this Softail tourer is struggling, wait until you see what's happening to Harley's so-called adventure hero. But before we dive into that, if you like this video so far, take a moment to like the video and subscribe to our channel. Number 11. Harley-Davidson Pan America 1250. When Harley-Davidson launched the Pan America 1250, it marked one of the boldest moves the company had made in decades. Known for heavyweight cruisers and touring bikes, Harley stepped into the adventure segment with a fully redesigned machine aimed at taking on legends like the BMW GS and the KTM Adventure. On paper, the specs were impressive. 150 horsepower, 1,253 cubic centimeters of displacement, and 94 pound-feet of torque thanks to the liquid-cooled Revolution Max engine. The bike also introduced innovative features like adaptive ride height, which automatically lowers the bike at stops to help shorter riders plant their feet. It came with a 6.5-inch touchscreen display, built-in navigation, multiple ride modes, and advanced rider assistance technology. But despite all these advancements, the Pan America has become a slow mover at dealerships. The biggest issue? It never truly won the trust of core adventure riders. Loyalists to other brands viewed it as a first-generation experiment, and early models had electronic gremlins that hurt its reputation. Some riders reported issues with the ride height system not functioning properly, glitchy touchscreen behavior, and awkward low-speed balance. Combine that with a tall learning curve and a top-heavy feel, and many potential buyers walked away. And now, dealerships are slashing prices dramatically. You can find brand new Pan Americas selling for thousands below MSRP. Some dealers are bundling off-road accessories, travel cases, and even no-interest financing just to get them out the door. It is a technically capable machine, but the Pan America never found its loyal audience, and now it's a discounted treasure for the right buyer. But from overambitious to just plain awkward, the next Harley suffers from a serious identity crisis. Number 10. Harley-Davidson FXDR 114. This bike was Harley-Davidson's attempt to blend modern muscle bike aesthetics with drag racing inspiration.
Built on the Softail platform, the bike came equipped with the Milwaukee 8 114V twin engine, delivering 90 horsepower, 1,186 cubic centimeters of displacement, and 119 pound-feet of torque. It featured a lightweight aluminum swing arm, inverted front forks, and a massive 240-inch rear tire for aggressive straight-line styling. The overall design screamed power and performance, aimed at riders who wanted something bold and different. The FXDR was fast. It could rip off the line with a burst of torque that felt thrilling in a straight shot. But that is where the excitement ended. In corners, the oversized rear tire made handling awkward and sluggish. The riding position, with its forward foot controls and flat drag-style handlebars, created discomfort during longer rides. Riders quickly learned that daily commuting or twisty road fun were not this bike's strengths. The design was all about appearance and pure speed, leaving little room for practicality in everyday riding.
At a price tag that hovered around $18,000 when new, buyers expected a lot more. Unfortunately, the FXDR felt like a style-over-substance machine that lacked Harley's traditional identity but also failed to capture sport cruiser fans who leaned toward Indian or Yamaha alternatives. While the engine power and aggressive looks drew attention, the bike didn't deliver the smooth handling and versatility that many expected from Harley.
It is a bike that tried to do something different and in doing so, missed the mark for nearly everyone. But if you want power, uniqueness, and are okay with trading comfort for pure visual impact, the FXDR 114 might just be your best bargain buy yet. The allure of its bold styling and performance may still attract those looking for something unique at a fraction of the cost. Still, nothing beats the price drops we're seeing on this next stripped-down three-wheeler. Number 9. Harley-Davidson Freewheeler. There was a time when the Freewheeler was seen as Harley's stripped-down solution for riders who wanted three wheels without the bells and whistles. But today, dealerships across the country are practically giving them away. Deep discounts, bundled accessories, and extended warranties are being thrown into the deal, just to get this Trike off the showroom floor. Underneath its minimalist frame is the Milwaukee 8 114V twin engine, which delivers 1,174 cubic centimeters of displacement, 100 horsepower, and 119 pound-feet of torque. That's solid performance on paper, especially for a three-wheeler. But the problem is that performance means very little when the bike feels like it's missing everything else.
The Freewheeler tips the scales at 1,118 pounds. While that weight gives it highway stability, it also makes city riding feel clumsy, especially for those new to trikes. Unlike the more complete Tri-Glide, the Freewheeler comes with no fairing, no infotainment system, and barely any storage. Riders get blasted with wind on long rides and are left with few creature comforts in exchange for the high price tag.
With the starting price of $29,999, the Freewheeler is no longer the budget option it once was. Buyers walk into a dealership, see the price tag, and immediately compare it to a used Tri-Glide Ultra with way more features. That comparison alone is enough to make most buyers walk away. Even longtime Harley enthusiasts are passing over this Trike. It is too expensive for riders looking for a basic three-wheeler and too under-equipped for those who want true touring comfort. Dealerships have responded by slashing prices, offering free upgrades, and including financing perks just to get some movement. And speaking of trikes, the next bike on the list was Harley's attempt at a full-blown luxury three-wheeler, only to end up collecting dust in the premium corner of every showroom. Number 8. Harley-Davidson CVO Tri-Glide. When Harley released the CVO Tri-Glide, it was supposed to be the pinnacle of American three-wheel touring luxury. But instead of becoming a crown jewel, it quickly turned into a hard sell. And now, dealerships are desperately trying to offload these massive machines with thousands in discounts and showroom credits. Powering the CVO Tri-Glide is the Milwaukee 8 117V twin engine. It produces 1,197 cubic centimeters of displacement, 125 horsepower, and 125 pound-feet of torque. It has serious muscle and an intimidating road presence, but that hasn't been enough to drive sales. Weighing in at 1,274 pounds, the CVO Tri-Glide is one of the heaviest motorcycles Harley-Davidson has ever made. And while the sheer size creates rock-solid stability on the highway, it also makes low-speed handling awkward and intimidating for many riders. Even experienced Trike owners have admitted it feels like piloting a small car through town.
What really turns people away, though, is the price. This three-wheeler starts at a jaw-dropping $54,900. That puts it deep into luxury automobile territory. For context, the standard Tri-Glide Ultra comes in at nearly $20,000 less and offers almost the same level of comfort and capability. The only real differences are the paint, some extra chrome, a few electronics, and a limited edition badge, and then there's the resale problem. Unlike other Harleys that hold their value well, the CVO Tri-Glide depreciates fast. Buyers who pay full price often take a massive loss the moment they roll it off the lot.
Now, dealers are throwing in extended warranties, free accessories, and aggressive price cuts just to get these off the floor. It was supposed to be a luxury flex, but the market simply didn't bite. But let's shift from three wheels to a bike that promised high-speed performance and cutting-edge styling, only to end up in dealership limbo. Number 7. Harley-Davidson V-Rod Muscle. There was a time when the V-Rod Muscle looked like the future of Harley-Davidson. Designed in collaboration with Porsche, this machine boasted cutting-edge technology and styling that stood apart from the rest of the Harley lineup. It was created to shake things up, to bring sport performance into a cruiser world, and to challenge traditional Harley thinking with something sleek, powerful, and modern. The V-Rod Muscle came equipped with an 1,134 cubic centimeter liquid-cooled Revolution engine. It produced around 125 horsepower and 85 pound-feet of torque, making it one of the most powerful production Harleys ever built. That kind of output meant it could launch from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just over 3 seconds, blazing fast for a Harley. But despite the performance, the V-Rod Muscle never found a home with Harley's core audience. The liquid-cooled engine didn't sound like a traditional V-twin. It revved high, lacked that deep rumble, and just didn't deliver the same raw feeling that old-school riders crave. Even worse, the styling didn't land. The stretched-out look and oversized rear tire gave it a muscular silhouette, but it lacked the classic lines Harley fans love.
Customization options were also limited. Riders who loved to modify their bikes found fewer aftermarket parts for the V-Rod, especially compared to the Softail or touring models. And with a small 3.7-gallon fuel tank, range was an issue, especially for long-distance riders. The final blow came when Harley-Davidson officially discontinued the V-Rod lineup in the year 2017. And yet, even today, some of these bikes are still sitting unsold in showrooms. With minimal resale demand and no factory support, dealerships are offering massive discounts just to move them off the floor.
If you thought that was the last of the discontinued Harleys causing headaches for dealerships, wait until you see the next bike on the list. It tried to combine stability and legacy, but the result is one of the hardest sells on the market. Number 6. Harley-Davidson Dyna Trike Conversions.
The Dyna was once one of the most beloved Harley-Davidson platforms, offering raw power and a minimalist look that appealed to purists. So when Harley discontinued the Dyna lineup in the year 2018, a lot of riders turned to Trike conversions to keep the legacy alive. But unfortunately, the Dyna Trike conversion has proven to be a slow-moving product in today's dealership world. These machines start with a standard Dyna chassis and are fitted with an aftermarket Trike conversion kit. The engine is typically the twin-cam model, displacing around 1,575 cubic centimeters. On average, these setups produce about 87 horsepower and 110 pound-feet of torque. Decent power figures, but not quite enough to make up for the added weight of a Trike conversion. The problem? These Trikes just don't handle like factory-built three-wheelers. The original Dyna frame was engineered for 2 wheels, not 3. Once converted, these bikes often feel awkward in corners and unstable at low speeds. Suspension tuning, weight distribution, and ride quality suffer because these are not purpose-built Trikes.
Another major issue is factory support. Because the Dyna platform is discontinued, replacement parts are becoming harder to find. And when something goes wrong, many Harley dealerships won't work on a bike with a third-party conversion kit. That lack of service support is a deal breaker for most buyers. Then there's the cost. A used Dyna might sell for somewhere around $12,000, but a Trike conversion kit can add another $12,000 to $20,000 on top of that. You're looking at a final price of over $30,000 for a custom-built Trike that lacks warranty coverage and factory reliability. At that price, most buyers would rather invest in a factory-built model like the Freewheeler or the Tri-Glide Ultra. And if you think converted Dynas are a gamble, the next bike on the list took that risk even further by trying to split the line between cruiser and tourer and falling flat on both sides.
Number 5. Harley-Davidson Switchback Trike Conversion. The Switchback Trike conversion was supposed to be the best of both worlds, a nimble cruiser that could double as a light touring machine. But once converted into a three-wheeler, it ended up being too heavy, too awkward, and too expensive for the riders Harley was trying to reach. What started as a promising idea quickly turned into one of the hardest motorcycles to sell in dealerships across the country.
The Switchback originally featured the twin-cam 103 engine, producing around 75 horsepower, 1,164 cubic centimeters of displacement, and about 98 pound-feet of torque. These specs made it a solid mid-sized cruiser when it was still a two-wheeler. But once a Trike kit is added, everything changes. The lightweight frame was never meant for the additional weight and width of a conversion, and that creates a major stability problem. Some riders say the bike feels unstable in corners, while others complain that the steering is too stiff at low speeds. Comfort also takes a hit. The Switchback was designed for a relaxed, upright riding position, but when you turn it into a Trike, the geometry shifts. The rear sits higher, the controls feel more stretched out, and it loses that smooth, balanced feel Harley's cruisers are known for. Riders who were expecting something comfortable enough for long-distance rides often end up disappointed. Then there's the price tag. A used Switchback might run anywhere from $12,000 to $15,000. But once you add a Trike conversion kit, which can cost another $12,000 to $18,000, you're looking at a final price that easily breaks $30,000. At that point, most riders would rather just buy a factory-built three-wheeler like the Freewheeler or the Tri-Glide Ultra, which come with dealer support, proper suspension, and factory reliability. Let's roll away from Trikes for a second. This next Softail cruiser should have been a home run, but it's struggling to find a home in American garages. Number 4. Harley-Davidson Softail Standard. At first glance, the Softail Standard looks like it has everything a Harley rider could want. It's clean, classic, and lightweight with a stripped-down bobber look that screams old-school cool. It even comes in at a more affordable price point than most other models in the Softail lineup. But despite checking all those boxes, this bike is collecting dust at dealerships across the country. And that's left dealers slashing prices and throwing in freebies just to move them. The Softail Standard is powered by the Milwaukee 8107 engine, putting out about 86 horsepower, 1,746 cubic centimeters of displacement, and 110 pound-feet of torque. That's more than enough for highway cruising and city commuting, and with a curb weight of around 655 pounds, it's one of the lighter full-sized Harley models you can buy. So what went wrong? For starters, it's too plain for many buyers. While Harley intended this bike to be a blank canvas for customization, a lot of riders see it as incomplete right off the showroom floor. There's no windshield, no saddlebags, and a basic solo seat. And even though that's by design, most Harley buyers, especially older riders, want a bike that's ready to ride long distances without having to spend thousands on extras. Another issue is that it's stuck in a weird middle zone. Riders who want a bare-bones bobber often go for the Sportster 883 or even used Dynas. Those who want a cruiser with more features step up to the Lowrider S or Fat Bob. That leaves the Softail Standard with no real audience. It's not flashy enough for show, and it's not functional enough for touring.
Now let's revisit a limited-run Harley that collectors adore. but everyday riders are still walking right past on their way to something else. Number 3. Harley-Davidson 48 Special. Back in the day, the 48 Special had all the right ingredients to be a hit with classic Harley fans. It featured fat balloon-style tires, throwback graphics, and a stripped-down, no-nonsense attitude that took direct inspiration from the old-school bobber scene. But fast forward to today, and dealerships across the country are practically giving these things away. Why? Because the market has shifted, and this once-loved Sportster is getting left behind by riders looking for modern comfort, tech, and performance.
Under the tank, the 48 Special is powered by an air-cooled V-twin engine with 883 cubic centimeters. It pushes out 65 horsepower and 53 pound-feet of torque. That's enough grunt for short cruises and bar-hopping runs, but compared to newer entry-level cruisers on the market, it's starting to feel underpowered and outdated. Riders today want more than just classic vibes. They want versatility, smoother rides, and better mileage, and the 48 just doesn't deliver on those fronts. The ride quality is another big reason these bikes are gathering dust. That low-profile stance looks great in photos, but it also means a harsh suspension setup, minimal ground clearance, and limited comfort over long distances. Even around town, taller riders often find the ergonomics too cramped to enjoy. What's really hurting the 48 Special is the value comparison. At one point, it was priced competitively, but now dealers are struggling to justify its cost next to better-equipped bikes in the same category. That's why we're seeing massive discounts, zero-interest financing offers, and even free add-ons like custom exhausts and extended warranties just to get them off the lot. If you thought this old-school Sportster had it rough, just wait until you hear about the next bike on the list, a premium bagger so expensive that riders walked away in disbelief. Number 2. Harley-Davidson CVO Road King. The Road King CVO was supposed to be the ultimate flex, Harley's top-tier bagger with all the factory bells and whistles. But instead of flying off showroom floors, this luxury touring machine has become one of the hardest sells in Harley's entire lineup. Dealers are slashing prices, throwing in thousands in incentives, and still struggling to get anyone to bite. This bike packs the Milwaukee 8 117 engine, which translates to 1,923 cubic centimeters of V-twin power. It produces a beastly 115 horsepower and 126 pound-feet of torque. On paper, that makes it one of the most powerful factory cruisers Harley has ever produced. But it also comes with a starting price of $54,900, and that's where things go south fast. Buyers look at that price tag and immediately start comparing it to other high-end touring bikes. And while the Road King CVO does offer premium features like custom paint, high-end finishes, and advanced rider safety systems, many riders simply don't see $20,000 worth of extra value compared to the standard Road King Special or even a tricked-out Street Glide. And here's the kicker. This isn't just about price. The CVO also struggles with resale value. Unlike some limited edition models that hold their worth, the Road King CVO depreciates hard, often dropping several $1,000s as soon as it leaves the dealership. Combine that with a shrinking touring market and increased competition from brands like Indian and BMW, and it's no surprise dealers are desperate to move them. Now, if you thought this luxury ride was tough to sell, just wait until you see the #1 Harley on this list, an oddball trike conversion that nobody wants even when it's half off. Number 1. Harley-Davidson Ultra Classic Trike Conversion. This bike was built to be the ultimate long-haul machine for older riders who value comfort, stability, and storage. But instead of flying off dealership floors, it has become one of Harley's most unwanted inventory nightmares. Dealers across the country are offering massive discounts just to get rid of these three-wheelers, often throwing in extended warranties, luggage upgrades, and thousands of dollars off the original asking price to clear up showroom space. The Ultra Classic Trike conversion starts life as a two-wheel touring bike before being outfitted with an aftermarket trike kit. And that's where the problem begins. While Harley's factory trikes like the Tri-Glide and the Freewheeler are engineered from the ground up to be balanced, stable, and smooth, the Ultra Classic conversion often feels like an afterthought. Many riders report awkward low-speed handling, rear-end wobble, and less precise cornering due to the lack of factory-tuned suspension. Powering this heavyweight is Harley's legendary V-twin engine, specifically the twin-cam 103, which produces an estimated 75 horsepower and 78 pound-feet of torque from its 1,130 cubic centimeter displacement. While that setup works fine on two wheels, it struggles to keep up with the extra weight of the Trike conversion, which can push the total weight of the bike beyond 1,100 pounds depending on the kit installed.
And then there's the price. A used Ultra Classic might start around $25,000, but once you factor in a quality Trike conversion kit, usually running between $12,000 and $18,000, the total cost easily surpasses $40,000. That puts it in direct competition with Harley's factory-built Trikes, which offer better engineering, dealer support, and resale value. Buyers are catching on, and dealerships are desperate to unload them. If you walk into a showroom today, you might just see one of these sitting under a make offer sign, because at this point, dealers are practically begging riders to take them home.
And that wraps up our list. Have you seen any of these three-wheelers collecting dust at your local Harley dealership? Let us know down in the comments. And if you're hunting for a bargain bike, now might just be the best time to strike a deal.